You weird. Straight up.
A little over 2,000, you know?
He said Chrisean better than me. How is Chrisean better than me and she giving her kid Robitussin in the back of her Buick? Like, I just don't understand that.
Chrisean Rock is finally breaking her silence, and this time, she's not holding back. After weeks of nonstop rumors, messy online back and forth, and fans demanding answers, Chrisean has officially addressed the Stunna Girl situation head-on. But that's not even the wildest part. While the internet was focused on beef and shade, Blueface reportedly made a serious move behind the scenes. He wants his son. And according to Chrisean, this isn't just talk anymore. She claims she spent over $10,000 dealing with everything tied to this situation, from legal steps to protecting her child and her peace. Now, fans are split. Is Blueface stepping up as a father, or is this another power move in a long history of chaos? And where does Stunna Girl actually fit into all of this? With emotions high, receipts coming out, and Chrisean sounding more serious than ever, this situation just took a major turn, and you're going to want to hear exactly what she said next. Chrisean Rock has never been one to shy away from controversy. But this time, the tone is different. Instead of jokes, subliminals, or emotional outbursts, Chrisean is finally speaking with a sense of urgency, and fans immediately notice the shift. After months of nonstop chaos involving Blueface, Stunna Girl, social media feuds, and questions about her son's well-being, Chrisean has decided to address everything head-on. And what she revealed has added an entirely new layer to an already messy situation. For weeks, the internet has been speculating about tension between Chrisean and Stunna Girl. The rumors ranged from behind-the-scenes beef to accusations of clout chasing and disloyalty. Every time Stunna Girl went live or dropped a comment, fans dissected it, trying to figure out whether it was aimed at Chrisean. Meanwhile, Chrisean stayed mostly quiet, which only made people assume things were worse than they looked. Now, she's finally confirming that yes, there was an issue. And no, it wasn't as simple as social media made it seem. According to Chrisean, the situation with Stunna Girl wasn't about jealousy or competition. She says it was about boundaries being crossed during a time when her life was already unstable. Chrisean explained that after becoming a mother, her priorities shifted. But the people around her didn't adjust accordingly. She claims certain conversations, jokes, and actions felt disrespectful not just to her, but to her role as a parent. And while she didn't accuse Stunna Girl of doing anything directly to her son, she made it clear that she didn't feel protected or supported in those moments. What stood out to fans most wasn't the shade, it was the exhaustion in Chrisean's voice. She admitted that she's tired of constantly defending herself online while also trying to figure out motherhood in real time. For years, Chrisean has been portrayed as reckless, unstable, and immature. But in this moment, she sounded aware of the damage all the drama has caused, especially now that a child is involved. That's where Blueface comes back into the picture. This is where things get serious. Chrisean revealed that Blueface is actively pushing to have access to their son. And according to her, it's no longer just conversations or threats made during arguments. She says real steps are being taken behind the scenes. And that's where the reported $10,000 comes in. Chrisean claims she's already spent that amount dealing with everything connected to this situation: legal consultations, travel, childcare arrangements, and protecting herself from what she describes as constant pressure. While she didn't break down every expense, she made it clear that this isn't about flexing money. Instead, she framed it as proof that the situation has escalated beyond internet drama. This isn't just Blueface going live and saying wild things anymore. This is about custody control and who gets to make decisions for their child. Blueface wanting his son has split the internet right down the middle. On one side, people are saying this is exactly what he should be doing. They argue that regardless of his past behavior, a father has the right to be involved in his child's life. Supporters believe Blueface is finally stepping up and trying to establish his role legally instead of just talking online. On the other side, critics aren't buying it. They point out Blueface's long history of manipulation, public humiliation, and using relationships for attention. Many fans believe this move has less to do with fatherhood and more to do with control. They question why after all the chaos, the breakups, and the public disrespect. Does he suddenly want to assert his parental rights? Chrisean seems aware of both narratives, and she addressed that directly. She didn't say Blueface shouldn't be a father. Instead, she emphasized that timing and intention matter. According to her, this push for their son came during one of the most unstable periods of her life, emotionally, financially, and mentally. She implied that instead of offering support privately, Blueface chose a route that added more stress and public scrutiny. Another major point Chrisean touched on was how social media has complicated everything. Every time Blueface speaks, fans flood her comments. Every rumor turns into a headline. Every emotional reaction becomes a meme. Chrisean admitted that trying to co-parent or even communicate in that environment feels impossible. She says there's no room for healing when everything is content. This is also where the Stunna Girl conversation ties back in. Chrisean hinted that outside voices and internet narratives have fueled misunderstandings between everyone involved. She suggested that people around the situation sometimes prioritize clout or loyalty to one person instead of the bigger picture. While she didn't outright accuse Stunna Girl of picking sides, she made it clear that trust has been broken, and once that happens, it's hard to move forward. Fans also noticed Chrisean repeatedly bringing the conversation back to her son. Unlike previous dramas where the focus was on relationships and beef, this time she kept emphasizing responsibility. She talked about sleepless nights, constant stress, and the fear of making the wrong decision. She admitted she doesn't have all the answers, but she knows one thing for sure. She doesn't want her child growing up surrounded by chaos the same way she did. That statement alone marked a major shift in how people see her. For the first time, many viewers felt like Chrisean wasn't performing for the internet. She wasn't yelling, crying uncontrollably, or throwing out wild accusations. She was explaining slowly, carefully why she's making certain choices and why she feels overwhelmed. Even critics who usually clown her admitted that she sounded more grounded than ever before. Still, this is only the beginning. Blueface wanting his son opens the door to a long, complicated process, one that involves courts, lawyers, and decisions that can't be undone. The tension with Stunna Girl adds another emotional layer, especially if former friendships are truly fractured. And the money Chrisean says she's already spent is just a preview of how costly financially and emotionally this situation could become as part one closes. One thing is clear. This is no longer just reality TV drama or viral content. This is real life colliding with fame, ego, and unresolved trauma. Chrisean is standing at a crossroads trying to protect her child while navigating relationships that have always thrived on chaos. As the dust from Chrisean Rock's initial statements began to settle, the internet did what it always does, started digging deeper. Clips were replayed, old lives were resurfaced, and timelines were reconstructed piece by piece. What fans quickly realized is that this situation didn't explode overnight. It's been building quietly for months. And now it's reaching a breaking point. One of the biggest shifts in this chapter is how intentional Chrisean appears to be. In the past, she often reacted emotionally, sometimes saying things she later walked back. This time, her words felt measured, almost strategic. People close to her claim she's finally listening to advice instead of fighting everyone around her. Whether that's true or not, the way she's handling the Blueface and Stunna Girl situation suggests she understands the stakes are higher than ever. Blueface's desire to be involved in his son's life has brought up uncomfortable questions, especially about his past behavior. Critics quickly pointed out that this is the same man who publicly embarrassed Chrisean, went live during arguments, and seemed to treat their relationship like entertainment. For many viewers, it's hard to reconcile that history with the image of a concerned father suddenly seeking custody or visitation. Supporters of Blueface, however, argue that people can change. They say becoming a father can shift priorities, even for someone with a long record of toxic behavior. From their perspective, Blueface pushing to see his son could be a sign of growth, not manipulation. They also believe that legal involvement might actually reduce the chaos by setting clear boundaries. Instead of leaving everything up to emotions and social media, Chrisean seems torn between those two interpretations. She hasn't accused Blueface of being an unfit father outright, but she has questioned his motives. She hinted that if this was truly about the child, things could have been handled quietly and respectfully. Instead, the situation spilled into the public eye once again, putting her under pressure from fans, critics, and strangers who feel entitled to an opinion on her motherhood. The financial aspect has also become a major talking point. Chrisean stating that she's already spent around $10,000 caught a lot of attention, not because of the amount itself, but because of what it represents. Legal consultations alone can cost thousands, especially when high-profile individuals are involved. Add travel, childcare, security, and emotional labor. And it becomes clear how quickly expenses add up. Some fans praised her for investing in protection and preparation, instead of impulsive spending. Others questioned whether the situation could have been avoided with better communication early on. But regardless of opinion, the money confirms one thing: this is no longer a casual disagreement. It's a serious conflict with long-term consequences. Meanwhile, the tension with Stunna Girl remains unresolved. While Chrisean didn't directly attack her, the distance is obvious. Fans notice that she's stopped engaging with Stunna Girl entirely, a sharp contrast from their previous interactions. That silence speaks volumes. In internet culture, cutting someone off without explanation often means the betrayal feels deeper than words can express. Speculation around Stunna Girl has ranged from unfair to extreme. Some accuse her of stirring drama behind the scenes, while others believe she's being dragged into a situation that has nothing to do with her. Chrisean's careful wording suggests she doesn't want to escalate things further, but she also isn't interested in pretending everything is fine. Another major theme in Part 2 is how motherhood has changed Chrisean's mindset. She admitted that she now replays situations in her head, wondering how they might affect her son later in life. Screenshots, viral clips, and headlines don't disappear. She knows one day her child might see all of it. That realization seems to be driving many of her recent decisions. She also spoke about fear of losing control over her own narrative, fear of being painted as the crazy parent, and fear of making a decision that could hurt her child emotionally. Those fears are amplified by her past, where trauma and instability were normalized. Breaking that cycle, she says, is harder than people realize. Social media continues to be both a weapon and a shield. On one hand, it exposes her to constant judgment. On the other, it gives her a platform to speak for herself instead of letting others define the story. Chrisean appears to be learning how to use that power more carefully, choosing when to speak and when to stay silent. As Part 2 unfolds, it becomes clear that this isn't just about Blueface wanting his son or lingering issues with Stunna Girl. It's about control, accountability, and growth, or the lack of it. Every decision Chrisean makes now carries weight, and there's no clean way out of the situation. The internet may still treat this like entertainment, but for Chrisean, the consequences are very real. Custody battles don't end with viral moments, they end with paperwork, court dates, and decisions that shape a child's future. And with emotions running high on all sides, the road ahead looks anything but smooth. One thing is certain: the calm we're seeing now feels temporary. With unresolved trust, public pressure, and legal moves happening behind the scenes, this story is far from over. And if Chrisean is already this stressed at the halfway point, the next phase may test her more than anything she's faced before. As the story continues to unfold, the focus shifts to what really matters: Chrisean's son and how this tangled web of drama affects him. Chrisean has been clear: her child's well-being is her top priority. Even over social media attention, public opinion, or personal pride. That perspective marks a major shift from previous public spats. where emotional reactions often dominated the headlines. Chrisean admitted that dealing with Blueface, wanting custody or visitation, has been emotionally draining. She described sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and feeling like she's being forced to navigate a storm without a compass. Every decision feels heavy, and every public comment adds pressure. For Chrisean, this is more than celebrity drama. It's about protecting her child from instability and ensuring that he has a safe, secure environment. The tension with Stunna Girl still lingers, though. While Chrisean hasn't shared all the details, she hinted that trust has been irreparably damaged. Fans have speculated endlessly about the nature of the conflict, but Chrisean seems to want the matter resolved quietly, at least for now. Her focus isn't revenge or retaliation, it's about keeping distractions away from her child's life. The $10,000 she spent underscores just how serious this situation has become. From legal fees to logistics, Chrisean has invested not for luxury or status, but to protect herself and her family. This transparency has earned her respect from some fans who previously dismissed her as impulsive. Now, many see a parent carefully navigating a high-stakes, emotionally charged situation while under the public microscope. Meanwhile, Blueface's involvement continues to polarize fans. Supporters believe he's taking responsibility as a father, while critics question his motives and timing. Chrisean seems to acknowledge both sides, recognizing that a father's role is important, but also aware that intentions matter just as much as actions. For her, the key concern is creating boundaries that protect her child, rather than feeding internet drama. Ultimately, Part 3 paints a picture of Chrisean as more measured, focused, and determined than many expected. Gone is the purely reactive figure from past headlines. Instead, she is someone navigating complicated relationships, legal pressures, and public scrutiny with her child's best interest at heart. While the situation remains tense, Chrisean's message is clear. Her priorities have shifted, her patience has limits, and her commitment to her son is unwavering. Fans are now left watching closely. Will Blueface step up as a father in the ways Chrisean hopes? Can tensions with Stunna Girl ever be fully resolved? And how will Chrisean continue to protect her child while balancing fame, relationships, and personal growth? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is undeniable: this story is far from over. And the next moves from all parties involved will shape not just social media narratives, but real lives behind the headlines. The drama between Chrisean Rock, Blueface, and Stunna Girl isn't just another celebrity story, it's a real-life saga that impacts a child, relationships, and the choices people make under public pressure. Now that Chrisean has finally spoken out, fans have the full picture. Boundaries were crossed, emotions ran high, and serious decisions, including legal steps and $10,000 in expenses, have been made to protect her son. But the story isn't over. Blueface's desire to be involved as a father, combined with lingering tension with Stunna Girl, means this situation is still evolving. Every update could change the dynamics, and every decision could have long-term consequences for everyone involved. If you want to stay on top of this unfolding story, witness how Chrisean navigates fame, parenthood, and high-stakes drama, make sure you follow closely. From exclusive updates to behind-the-scenes insights, staying informed is the only way to understand the full truth. Don't miss a moment, because in this case, every statement, every move, and every decision could shift the narrative in ways the internet has never seen before.